Um, and you're actually one of the people that we refer to inside of Who That Knows How, which is really important. So yeah, sorry, just getting all the fun technical stuff connected.
Well, today is Friday. It's the Landshark Mastermind, and so we got a lot of stuff going on. We are going to be pushing out some new content for people to share out because we want people to come into the podcast and learn more about what what the Deal Hunter does. And so Deal Hunter's got a live Facebook group where you can go and watch the live every day, 9 to 10 a.m. And so uh, I've got to figure out with Catherine how to get that started up, or I don't know if I do it from my own computer, but um, to get seen on Facebook.
It's already live.
Yeah. So, but yeah, getting people in to talk about real estate, running some deals, getting some deals done. That's what it's all about. So, um, the the tools that we use on are on ChatGPT. So you got to have the $20 version of ChatGPT in order for all this to come together and work properly. Um, and then uh, the other thing is that you have to have some desire to do real estate investing. If you're just in here because you're like, I need a paycheck and I need a job, like I'll give you one. I'll give you a job, but I'm not gonna, I don't think you're going to learn anything just by doing the work. You gotta be energized and influenced and have an energy to do it. So um, the but typically what we do is we talk for about 10 minutes and then we get into running some deals. If we got a guest, we talk to the guest. Um, and find out more about them, and then they're obligated by proxy at that point to hang out and tell us, let us demonstrate for them how Deal Hunter works and how free estimates works, and see if we can improve and provide gems for our guests on how AI functions. So typically, Catherine's just the chatterbox going and talking for 10 to 12 minutes every morning. But maybe because she's not feeling well, we're missing out on that. So uh, the uh, but to any extent, like the floor is yours, Catherine.
So, um, Friday, Fun Friday, Financial Fun Friday. So many things going on. So Melissa, let's take this opportunity to talk about again, one of the books I have everybody read, if anybody hasn't heard it, is Dan Sullivan's book, Who Not How. And I always like to ask people
Hmm.
like, who were you the who for and who are you looking for? So Melissa, I have an idea of like who you are and what you do, but I'd love to hear like who are you the who for so that people can understand that and then we'll jump into that conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. So my who is really small business owners that are really good at the service side of their business or the product side of their business, but maybe business isn't their forte. So they don't have a full understanding of kind of the full picture business model, or they're just not at a revenue stream where they can hire somebody full time as like an office manager or a full time admin, and so we kind of step into that place and provide the education piece on why the numbers are really important, what their numbers are, and kind of where they want to grow into in the next 3 to 5 years within their business, and why having good numbers and good analytics is really important for that.
Yeah, that's super important. So there's a book by Mike Michalowicz called Profit First. I freaking love that book. And it's a piece of like, it's really, really, really important to know your numbers.
Yeah.
and to like understand how to navigate forward and then structure them so that you're taking a percentage of your profit and you are setting it aside for all the different things rather than just consuming all of that profit inside of your company. And so one of the things you and I met at Christina's dinner, which was amazing. And
Amazing.
you had said what it struck me, what you had said was that um, here's the long and short of what it may not be what you said, but it's the gist of
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
was that basically you take companies that are kind of have a bookkeeping nightmare going on and you straighten them all out and like get them on track to go to the next level, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. My whole goal, and it's interesting, I was just talking with somebody else yesterday. My goal isn't to have clients for 10, 15, 20 years. My goal is to really get clients profitable, understanding their numbers, making sure that they understand where they have profit loss pitfalls. And I hear from them a lot, like, oh, we're doing a lot of work, but we just never seem to have cash in the bank. Well, why
Right.
is that? Or you're not billing enough, like your prices aren't where they need to be. But the
Right.
other side of it is, if I can grow you, like, a success for me is to make it easy for the business owner so that they can grow, and then we can hire somebody into their office where they can have that knowledgeable person as they expand, and then I can work on the next generation of business owners that are coming up through the ranks and trying to get to that $1 million mark or multi-million-dollar mark.
Yeah.
And we have well-trained, well-educated people now in place in those clients, so that we don't have a big cycle of turnover and starting that disastrous mess all over again. So we really work in that full circle picture of clean up all the way through training to getting somebody qualified into the office, and then the substantial growth thereafter.
So I love that because there's another really brilliant book. A friend of mine, Michael Gerber, he wrote a book called The E Myth, and it's the entrepreneurial myth. And you're pointing to it. And what it is, the entrepreneurial myth is like that people are really good at doing the things. So, say, like an electrician is really good at being an electrician, or a plumber is good at being a plumber, or a real estate investor is good at like flipping or whatever. But when it comes to the numbers, and then the putting in the systems and structures and the day-to-day operations, like running the actual company, those are two different skill sets. Being good at doing the thing is very different than running a business about that thing. Two very
Yeah.
different skill sets. And what I hear is like they can be good at their thing and you come in because you're good at running the business
Yep.
about the thing. And then more importantly, what I like is the getting them to a point where now you're helping bring in the staff, the team to like build that. You've built the foundation with them, and now you're helping them grow it, to the next level. So that's really interesting. So, what sizes of companies like is the sweet spot that like you help them inside of that? Because again, it's what here's what I love is that you're really clear the the window that you help them in. You're not a forever person with them. Like
Right.
you're clear about that. And understanding like some personalities are really good at startups. Some personalities are really good after the startup has happened and then the growth. Some people are now really good at the building and the scaling. Like and understanding what stage of the company that we are really good at and being a piece of that and being completely okay when that has been fulfilled,
Yeah.
completing that in a healthy way, and everybody goes their separate ways and moves on,
Yeah.
right? Which I think is not a normal way of thinking for people because they think they got to be there forever. And it's like, hold on, it's a different
Yeah.
skill set. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so I come from, so my mom is an algebra teacher. My mom's been a high school algebra teacher for almost going on 30 years now, if not longer. And so my mindset is very much that of a teacher. So while we love to see our students excel, like she has freshmen, right? And so she loves to see them graduate and go on to the next phase of their career. They always have a place with, like, they can always come back to her classroom if they have questions. that's kind of the same premise that I run in my business, right? And so even when we graduate clients out of our system, because I don't ever want to feel like I'm somebody's employee, which is why I started a business, right? That we're always a resource to come back if, let's say, the person that we did get hired either goes on maternity leave, goes on some level of FMLA. If we need to train, maybe they have to split off for any reason, there's always an opportunity to come back and to be that place filler. So typically my wheelhouse for clients is startups and businesses that are under 5 million, where there can be some impactful change. Sometimes I feel like clients that grow and scale too quickly don't have the ability to get me into what I need to get into. So even if they are, maybe they're above 5 million, but they're willing to relinquish some of that control and say like, hey, can you just get me set up with activity access on your bank account? I'll do the heavy lifting. If that's not something that they're willing to do, if they want to just send over bank statements, if they just want to send over like hard copy stuff, and they have hundreds of thousands of transactions that need to be completed, it's probably not a good fit for me because I don't have the capacity to continue to remind them to upload stuff and get copies every month and that type of stuff. So it's really an accessibility component along with a willingness to learn and in the time capacity. My max capacity for any client is 10 hours a week. Otherwise it starts to feel like a client. So obviously at the beginning, it might be a little more as we do some cleanup work. But as we roll into, the sustainability piece of it, that's kind of where I'm at. So if we get to be too large, again, that's where we start to look at the recruiting side. And I have a whole list of qualified candidates that we start to place. That's kind of the other side of my business that we're growing is a recruiting company to place qualified individuals.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I love that.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Sorry. Is that okay, Catherine?
Yeah. We're going to jump back into Deal Hunter, but yeah, really quick.
Okay. So when you're talking about businesses in the sense, are you like making sure their costs are structured to get costs down, or like when you say going over their books, because
Like bookkeeping.
I have a buy sell trade business
Yeah.
that I feel like they need bookkeeping, but I feel like because it's every item is so different and all over the place that wouldn't make sense for us, right?
Well, you'll always need some kind of bookkeeping. So the structure piece of it really is having the client understand what's deductible, what belongs on which of the financial statements, which is a big misconception for a lot of more novice, maybe business owners or business owners that are they've gotten so good at what they're doing, but they haven't really spent much time in the financial statement world. What belongs on an income statement, what belongs on a balance sheet, what portion of debt can be written off, which portion has to go against principal, that type of stuff. And then setting up the chart of accounts that makes sense, not only for tax purposes, but also makes sense for the operations of the business so that we can look at, your gross revenue and then what it costs you to grow that revenue. So your cost of goods sold, and then what your operating costs are. So making sure that your revenue that you're billing, your price point that you're billing is covering your fixed costs in the operation side, because the costs kind of cover themselves, right? We know what, let's say for housing, we know what wood costs, we know what a roofing cost would be, but we don't know often what it costs to operate, right? And so making sure that we're building in enough of a general condition for operations expenses that we're still making the profit revenues that we want, and we're covering COGS, and we're covering fixed expenses. So I think every single business and every industry should have some level of understanding of their numbers if they don't just want to keep throwing stuff at the wall and being like, oh, well, there's money in the bank, or, oh, we're good, I can still pay my bills. but is it getting to you to where you want? Are you working 80 hours a week to make 2% profit? That's not really realistic and it's not sustainable, right? Let's say you have some big major medical bill that comes through, your 2% is gone at that point because you have to withdraw from the business. So hopefully that kind of explains a little bit more. And I deal mainly in the construction world. That's where my background was before I got into running my own business. So I have a pretty good understanding of that trade industry. But I work with businesses all over the board.
Okay. Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah.
That helps me understand. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you, Melissa. I think that again, this is an important piece. Again, I always say do the numbers. Numbers tell you what to do, but having who's on your team that know how to do
Yeah.
those numbers so that again, you understand like what the story that the numbers are telling you is a really
Yeah.
important piece. So
Yeah,
yeah, this is
absolutely.
really
And
great.
then even what benefits, like a lot of clients, like, do we have enough money to maybe add benefits to employees, which would help with employee retention? How much is it going to
Right.
cost us? All of those kind of things are conversations that, clients that I typically help, they can't afford like a CFO kind of level, which is or even an HR manager, that type of stuff. So,
Right.
what I offer in my office is kind of a combination of a little bit of all of that until you're ready financially
To
for a
hire the
little
people.
more of one of those. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's really great. I love that. So inside of Do the Numbers, numbers tell you what to do. Of course, we have Deal Hunter, which is Tommy's genius. So, Tommy, you want to take over?
Um, yeah, does anybody have any deals they want to run before I pop open some stuff or and thank you Melissa for telling us about what you do. Certainly a high need for it. We've got contractor scale up and that's what we're focused on is helping those contractors go from 100,000 gross annual sales a year to 1 million gross annual sales. We have a boot camp that helps them through that. So if you ever have any difficult clients, toss them our way. Um, so, but Ashley, do you have anything you want to pull
Yeah,
forward?
I have a property.
All right. So go ahead and run that. Have you already ran it through Deal Hunter?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to let you share your screen. Let's pull it up and take a look at it real quick. This is out in Scottsdale in my favorite part of the neighborhood, at the
Oh, where'd it go?
85260. You got the wrong one?
No, it's right here.
Okay.
Can you guys see it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a Scottsdale and property in Scottsdale. Um, it is in a subdivision that has a land lease. So I'm pretty sure I read that it was paid off, but I'm not 100% clear. Um, and it has some decent comps. So I think if we could get it for like 900 to 975, it'd be
Right.
like amazing. But you know, 1,100,000 is like the top of what I would offer if I was gonna fix and flip.
Right. Okay. So as long as you've got the land lease cleared up, that's the biggest part.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good area and it's in a good area for those comps. Um, what does the property look like being built in 19, did you say it was 1988?
Um, Let me see. I think I have more
It
information
should,
over
yeah,
here somewhere.
go back
What
up to the top real
Redfin?
quick.
Yeah.
Go back up to the
Because if
top,
you
you
click
said?
the Redfin
Yeah,
or Zillow, it can
right
tell
there.
you.
It says it built in 1988. Boom,
You go.
right
Okay.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, right
So
here.
go back up a little bit more. I just want to see how you prompted this. Okay, so when you said looking for comps on this property, so that's all it's going to do.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so
That's
I
all
need
it's
to
going to do.
say, should I do it again and say
On this
run this
deal.
deal?
Ready? Yeah, let's start it over. Just grab the address. I'm going to show you real quick. Grab the address, copy, and then go to Deal Hunter by Landshark. And so this is how sensitive like an LLM is that you have to give it context, right? And inside of giving it context, you're going to give it the address. And then what I did, because I don't want to continue to just go in and be a prompt wizard on it and say, run comps, run a market analysis, run a feasibility study, run an idea, give me scenarios, give me this, give me that. I don't want to sit there and keep having this conversation back and forth, right? So what I did was I made it to where it does 7 or 8 different things inside of 3 little words. So the 7 things I needed to do: comps, history, data, informatics, feasibility study, go, no go, red flags, offer opportunities. Like you'll see it here in a minute, the difference between run this deal and get me comps. And so
Mm-hmm.
you can already see that like inside of run this deal, it's already searched for websites. It's now showing you all the things that it's doing, and boom, now you have a legitimate deal run on this, and it's a conditional go,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Strongest is off market value add.
Now, same information, different layout than you had before,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. It was saying
So
that it's kind of all over the place on different websites.
yeah, yeah, showing that it's just crazy numbers right there.
Um,
So
but
go ahead.
there was a recent sale for 1.4.
Hmm.
So I feel like if we could get it in the 900,000 range, there's a lot of room for profit on this flip.
Right. And so but it's about how are you going to go after it to get it done. So that's what we can go through right here. Keep going through this. We'll take a look at it. If your purchase is at the 850 mark, right? Where to be with it. So it's telling you to target it closer to the 725. And it's because the comps in the area um, are are showing that the ARV is closer to what the asking is. Keep going down. Okay, so it's showing you a rental opportunity, and here, right here, it's showing you like what it would do if it was to be rented, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's giving you a rough DSCR score right there of a 1.09, and that's at a $700,000 price tag, a loan for 700,000. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a no-go at normal retail pricing. So here are 3 funding paths, provides those, and keep going. And then here's your diligence lever, telling you what to be mindful of,
Mm-hmm.
looking around, right? And then what your negotiation angles are. Um, Again, at a $900,000 price tag, that's higher than what this is suggesting for a reason. It's for a specific reason. I'll show you right here why. Go down to the bottom line. Is because you won't have much margin if you buy it at 1,900 and sell it at 1.4. It's not leaving you much room for doing anything else. How much did you think you could sell this for?
1.25 to 1.4. If it was, I was thinking 1.25 would be max.
Okay, and if you
So if you
buy
get it
it,
at 900,000, put 100,000 into it, and
mhm.
then there's 250,000 left.
Well, let's look at that. Let's do the dictate on it real quick.
Okay. What do you want me to say? Or are you ready?
Well, I don't know if it'll hear me. Let's give it a try.
Oh, what? Okay, what do you want me to say?
Um, I would ask it to show the top of value ARV
Mm-hmm.
with the sale price at 900K, and then factor in your 100K for putty and paint.
Okay, wait. So factor in the
Ask it for the top of market ARV, bottom of market ARV against
mm-hmm.
the $900,000 sale price and a $100,000 rehab budget.
Okay. Oops. Can you take the top of market ARV and the bottom market ARV plus the $100,000 to renovate and
Sale price is 900K.
a sale price of 900,000?
Show us our spread.
Show us our spread. Okay, using the ARV average from prior deal analysis.
So you got a spread of 10 to 48%,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's a little too risky.
That's very risky, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, after you get through reading this and consuming this, ask it to incorporate your holding costs on $1 million. You're gonna have about you probably would have it for about 2 months. Let's just guess that it's like all it really needs is a paint job. If it all it needs is a paint job and some cosmetic work for $100,000, then we 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 can say that at that point it's going to take us maybe 2 months to do the work, and we're going to be. I looked yesterday, and in this area, houses are on market 75 days. So we need holding costs for 75 days plus 2 months of 2 months of work. And so now it'll dictate to you where your uh, uh, where your price points need to be on that as
Oh my
well.
gosh, plus the HOA costs.
Right, right. And ready for this, you could have delays inside of the HOA because you can't start work at a certain time and you have to be finished with work at a certain time. And you have to close up your job site at a certain time and a certain way and all those things. So
Mm-hmm.
that really chews into your budget a little bit too as well. So here's your holding costs. And so it's showing here that you could be looking at almost $40,000 in holding costs just for the hard money loan. And then on the carry and all that. So looking at it now, if you exit ARV was at 1.1 and you or to 1.5, that's where your points are at. So now your growth spread goes from 100K down to 45K. And you
Mm-hmm.
really got to try to get that 1.48. The issue with that is this. If let's go look at a map now, because again, I'm doing most of this blind.
Mm-hmm.
And here's how Deal Hunter works. I'm the expert. And so I need to be able to look at the property and say, yes, this is doable, or no, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so I can do that based on how long I've been doing this.
This is what the front of it looks like.
Right, right, right. It's in a cul-de-sac or on a bend.
It's in,
It's on a cul-de-sac.
yeah, it comes on 75th place
It's
and it
off
looks
of
like,
Shea. It's not up against. One of the things they don't like is that if it's ever up against a road,
mm-hmm.
right? Like like it would be up against cactus or whatever. So zooming in on it, trying to understand, is that one house right there like that, or is that
Yeah,
two?
this. Oh no,
They literally
it's right
connected?
here.
Is that a duplex? Can you zoom in on the picture? That's a duplex. That's a duplex. So if you go to the street view, let's look at street view. I bet they got conjoining walls. Their walls are touching. You can't do anything there.
I didn't even know. I thought this was the whole house. Holy crap.
No,
So it's this one. It's just
yeah,
this.
yeah. And they got what's called a zero lot line. That's a duplex,
Oops.
right? That's a
Mm-hmm.
fancy dancy duplex. You're not going to get the same amount See how they
As
got them right there?
mm-hmm.
Yeah. You won't get the same amount as a regular single family because this is considered, even though it's considered single family, it's technically by building standards a duplex and a
Mm-hmm.
multifamily. So your price just went back down to bottom of ARV
Mm-hmm.
just based on that. And that's me as a builder.
Mm-hmm. So you would want to get it for even less.
I'd want it for like 725.
Okay.
I would offer 725, no less, no more.
Okay.
Only because again, there's nothing I can do with that house ever. I can't
Mm-hmm.
remodel it. I can't tear it down. I can't add on to it. I can't put two stories. I can't do anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Okay.
fact that they let them paint them two different colors is just for somebody with my level of ADHD, ADD, DD, AD, ABB, CD, AFG, none of the LGBTQ.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand that one house is two colors. Like it
Yeah.
puts the brakes on my brain.
Dang, okay.
Dang. But
Thought it
it's
was a
But
good deal for a second.
right. It's not to say don't make an offer. I'm not saying don't make an offer. Make a smart offer. Make an offer that makes you money, right? And what makes you money is coming in at 725 and saying here's where we're at, folks. Like this is the deal. And it takes confidence to do that too. I sometimes forget that people need confidence to go out and offer people like a price. Because we're so used to as a consumerism society, we go in and we're like, okay, price tag on this book says $10. I'm paying $10. Whether it's worth it or not, I'm paying $10. Because why? The price tag said so, right? And so that's a consumerism mentality. And like we're out trying to buy houses to make a living. We can't make a living if we're paying asking price just because somebody said that's what it was worth, right? We got to prove that worth, or it's not even worth it.
well,
Uh,
Ashley, here's the other win is like how quickly were you able to determine that versus before? How much time would you have spent working through that until you figured out that that was an actual duplex, right?
Right. And I honestly had looked at it before and I thought that was part of the house. So I don't know if I would have caught that unless I went to see the property in person without
Right. When you
Tommy
go in person, you're
pointing it
like,
out.
oh crap, what happened? And now what ends up happening is your brain goes through a hormonal change because our body uses hormones like endorphins and estrogen and testosterone and adrenaline and all that to make decisions to determine what we're going to do in the environment we're in. If you went to that environment and had that sneak surprise of guess what? It's not one house, it's two. Like you
Mm-hmm.
literally have this entire hormone cocktail that gets dumped into your brain that blocks you from being able to do anything else productively there while you're there because it's like a shock to your system. So your
Yeah.
body creates all these hormones that it wasn't ready for, and so everything you see, hear, touch, feel is 100% now dictated by the hormones your body created in that shock environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
this is why as like a seasoned investor, I show up and I go, okay, I need to come back. I will literally just like when I learned that, you know what? Something came up. I got to reschedule. I got to go. I'll be back. And I do that. It doesn't because again, I'm not here to make friends. I'm not here to worry if somebody's going to be upset because I didn't take their time to do it. Like again, I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings by saying that, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
here to make money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to handle
Yeah.
it that
Yep.
way. This is the new logo for or new image that we're going to be sending out about free estimates. I just finished that. I was trying to find the darn conversation I was having about PPMs last night.
So really quick, Melissa, like I don't know if you're connecting the dots. One of the things that we actually do is we actually come into companies and build out AI tools for them inside of their companies to be able to do their own like analysis of deals. Like Tommy's got free estimates as well. And if you're working with contractors, like this is a tool that we could come alongside of you and help build for them so that now they're really getting smart inside of doing the numbers and the numbers tell them what to do to help them continue to grow and scale. I don't know if you're seeing the genius behind this. Like the amount of time that it
Mm.
takes for them to bid and go through all of that. Like are
Yeah.
they thinking about the insurance, the employee benefits, like all of that? It could actually be built inside of this and then they're like done in minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I really like this because I think, and Tommy probably has way more experience on this too, but your small electricians, plumbers, drywallers, these guys are just like, I have to get money, right? So let me
Yeah.
just throw a number at the wall and hope that I don't lose my ass on it. And then learn from it the next time.
Yeah.
But then that time may be the one time that literally just puts them under in their business. I'm working with a hardscape client right now who we're going after some lines of credit because his GCs are just slow in payment right now, but he's got $5 million of new work that he has to outlay cash for payroll, right? Because they get paid
Right.
every week. And so I think those tools are phenomenal for them because they don't have the knowledge and experience a lot of times, but the capacity to spend the time
Yeah.
to go through this process. They just need to get these bids out, so hopefully they get the rolling, residual income coming in.
So yeah, we build this out for companies. We're building it out for a company next week, inside of what they do. Again, this is like the nerdy fun that we get to have. That again, I
Yeah,
think might be a huge benefit to an add-on that we could help you do for all your clients. And again, you look like the rock star. They get to be the rock star, like all the things.
absolutely. Yeah, no, this is fascinating. With my husband being in real estate too, this is just an interesting component side of the brain stuff that we download in our own house. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad that you're here seeing this.
Well, since she's got a husband in real estate, let me do a little quick demo. This is deal entered by Landshark. We used it to run that deal there, but I'm gonna do a little bit of yesterday salads and go restaurants across Arizona, New Mexico, and other states closed their doors permanently as the company files for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. I would like to know how we can find all the salads and go that are located in just Arizona. And tell me how many there are so that we can start coming up with a repurposing plan for all of these vacant buildings that are in prime locations.
So really quick, I found out last night Dutch Bros actually bought them all.
What?
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I was about to say. Dutch Bros immediately agreed to buy
Yeah.
all of their locations.
Interesting.
it's funny on the
Smart.
on the on the finance side of it. The minute I was like, that's an asset sale purchase. And everyone's like,
Right.
oh no, they're going to operate them. And I was like, they're 100% not going to operate them.
They're
It's an
insolvent. Yeah.
asset sale. And everyone's like, how do you know it? I was like, because I do this every day. And they're like, what's an asset sale? I'm like, this is why, this is why you need
The real
professional
estate, yeah. But also in certain, like here in North Central Phoenix, their locations,
You
they
smell
have
like
a
you're on
really
a
hard
lead.
time with like having cars out in the middle of the street and different things. So, and hopefully they move the Dutch Bros locations around here in North Central Phoenix, so that's not a problem. But
Yeah.
yeah, same thing with like Walgreens or like any of those places. Their real estate is what's, you know,
Yeah,
key.
I wouldn't be surprised if they repurpose some of the Dutch brothers into other leases for other companies and take over some
Do the biggest.
salad
Yeah,
and go
absolutely.
because it's an easy way for expansion. And then you can keep your own assets on the books at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it shows here there's 63 of them, 17 of them in the Arizona footprint. And this is my GPT. You could have probably done it from your GPT. Um, but inside of Deal Hunter, um, what it did was it built an acquisition repurposing tracker, putting all 63 addresses into a workbook so that now I can go and start digging through them to try and find more about them. Shows here that it does mention Dutch Bros, its affiliated buyer, has agreed to acquire up to 65 of the former Salad to Go sites across Arizona, Nevada, Texas, Oklahoma. So they're going to take choice. They're not going to take off, maybe. I don't know. But that's what it's saying in the business journal. Right.
Interesting.
So um, it says right there, Dutch Bros to buy 65 Salad and Go locations for 105 M. Right.
Yeah,
So
I think at one point they had over 140 something locations, and over the last few years they've scaled back to 70. And so yeah, then so there are maybe some availability of asset acquisitions that
yeah,
haven't been yet.
yeah. Well, and so there's 63 across Arizona. And so seven in Nevada. And so it says that there's maybe a total of 70 locations. So if they're only buying 63, they left some off the map. Those might become available. Right. But look at the detail that this provides inside of like everything that's there. It literally gives me everything I would need to, again, I can just take take one line at a time and say, run this deal and get it to produce that. Now, here's the better part. I can actually get my Claude to make my GPT run. So if I fed this to Claude and said, now run these through Deal Hunter on GPT, I can do that. And I can get it to run this whole list and that, and do the whole thing. So pretty amazing ability that it has based on just what we taught it. And so that's again back to the context. If you provide it the context, it will learn and go with you. Otherwise, it's like a 10-second Tom. When you wake up, you got to remind it every morning what it's supposed to be doing, you know. And that was something I didn't want to go through. And when I built this, believe it or not, 2.5 years ago. So, and I've been updating it ever since, but I built it 2.5 years ago, so I didn't have to sit down at my desk every morning and remind it what we did for work, you know?
Is this kind of going back to what Catherine was saying earlier? Like if I relate it to my own marketing plan that I have pie in the sky, because marketing I don't understand, AI I don't understand. So I have all these just idea generations but I know there's an ability to buy the list of like new LLCs that are created. But it doesn't give you anything but an address and a business name in a principal shareholder, right? It doesn't give you phone numbers. It doesn't give you email addresses. Though you have to put that information into the system to create an LLC. Is what you guys can build through AI the ability to data scrape and reference, like if that LLC was created, it goes like and looks for a website and contact information and like all of that type of stuff that then I can run marketing, pitches and stuff for.
Yes and no, you got to worry about the legality of it, but outside of that, yeah, you can get a scrape list. Because I mean, how many LLCs do you have, Melissa?
I mean, there's on average 150 LLCs that are created on a daily
No, I
basis.
know. I'm saying, how many do you have? How many
Do I
LLCs have you started? Yeah.
I have 5 that I am a principal on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I probably start 2 to 3 LLCs a month. Sometimes 2 to 3 a week. And so inside of that, the list is available through an API scrape that uses an MCP program to get it. And so that's big talk for AI engineering. And so the reason why I know it's not only possible, but people are doing it is because every time I open an LLC, I get 3 forms of documentation. One of them is insurance, one of them is credit cards, and the other one is marketing and advertising. So every
Sure.
time I start an LLC, I'm inundated in my mailbox and in my email box with all that information of, hey, we can service you, hey, we can help you. So I do know it's possible. I don't do it. It's not something I'm big in practice of. I use skip tracing, and it's called skip tracing. I use skip tracing for uh, getting mailers out to people I want to buy a house from. So I'm assuming if we use the same process, then you should be able to get numbers to new LLCs that start.
So the process that Catherine was talking about is really more generated on like the revenue generation estimation side of like the service trade industry.
For my program, yes, but if you wanted a GPT for, say, for running your CPA firm, we could do that as well. So, inside
And then
of,
each one of her contractors, like each, because
huh?
so the free estimates, that'd be kind of cool to show
Well,
her
what she's
because
talking about, are you talking about for your contractors? Melissa, are you talking about for your company?
Well, in theory, it would be kind of for both, right? So if I decided to direct market to all LLCs that had it as the NACIS code of contracting, right? When they created their LLC. And then with that, we paired something like the free estimate or whatever. So they kind of coupled together as like a even more, what are they, pretty package. I think it can kind of work together. So, being able to solicit to these companies to bring in more, and then obviously I have contractors that are already in-house, but that cycle of continuing to bring in new clients and attracting new clients and then offering them services that maybe aren't available in your standard bookkeeping type company.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're talking about two different things. Free estimates is there for the fix and flipper, the buying, the rehabber, the real estate investor who needs to get numbers quickly. That morphed into it works for every contractor too. Now, to I don't know what the benefit would be to a contractor to get every LLC um or whatever like
no,
you were
it'd be
talking
for
about with
her
the
because those are her clients. She would market to those new companies to be her new clients, right, Melissa?
Correct.
free estimates is not capable of doing that, but we can build see, that's what I'm saying. We're talking about two different things. We can build a GPT to handle what Melissa wants to do with LLCs. And then what you're saying is then when she's marketing that, say, oh, by the way, here's free estimates. Yeah.
Correct. So my original question was, is the service that you provide through what Catherine had mentioned through building these AI chat features like you have for deal hunters for something like what I would need? Obviously, they're not comparable to each other, but also then component in either the deal hunters or the free estimates or that type of stuff as a secondary marketing piece as to why my company or working with me is more valuable than any other bookkeeper that's been out there and solicited to them.
Right. So there's two ways that I'm hearing this. So the first one is like here, I'll show you on here. Like we have a jet company, a private jet broker, Alyssa. She's also part of the Deal Hunter. Her day job is a private jet charter broker. Like she brokers private jets. So we made her own GPT that she can use internally across with her team or even out to clients. And within that, what it does is it gives her the ability to work with these people on these things one-on-one or internally. And so again, like a redundant task can be easily fixed right here because again, like if somebody needed a quote for a flight from Vegas to Reno, this would give them an idea without having to bug her. Or if she's on the phone, it'll quickly give her an idea without a bunch of hoops to jump through. If she had to put together a Vegas to Reno to LA and back to Vegas, she can do that really fast here because it goes into her system that we told it to use, and starts looking for all those spots. And so kind of like a Travelocity, if you would, for just Alyssa's brokerage. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Right? So that's what we did for her on that. Um, um, the Team Scottsdale Summit is an event. And so this one is built and based on being for an event where people can get information about the event. The team can share information or get like an understanding about the, like if we hired a new salesperson, we would just have them sit here and hit the prompts to go through and get all the information to get onboarded. And then I need somebody to write an email, but I'm not going to sit down and write it. They can go here and say, let's write an email response in Tommy's tone. Boom, it'll send it out
Got
and
it.
do that, right?
Got it. Okay.
So, and then the other one we built is this one here. I helped build this one. It's a lawyer-backed process, but every time you get a response, it sends the lawyer that we built this with, Mark, he gets or they get a database of complaints or whatever questions that then is filtered out through the 2,000 lawyers that are on their team. And
Gotcha.
so every one of these has a different thing. And we built these for people to do all this stuff with. So inside
Okay.
of
Yeah,
the inside of the go ahead.
I think that answers my question. Yeah.
All right, cool. So I had I was working in your thing last night, Catherine, with OZ Wizard. And so that was kind of what I wanted to show you was that we loaded the Titan 23 ppm into the OZ Wizard 2.0 and said, you know, do an assessment for us on this as far as like compare the Avestor PPM to what we need for an opportunity zone fund PPM. And this is what it came back with. You know, it's a score of 42 out of 100. And it just started nailing off everything that Sanjay was saying. What do we need? What do we need? One of the other things I realized, and this goes to the point yesterday during that call, was that I think everybody was missing, to Brett's point, there's no 2.0 PPM that's been written yet.
Right. And Sanjay
So,
had said he was willing to like help cover the cost of the first one,
right.
just
Well, I'm
get
saying the
it
first one
created,
in
but
the entire, like the first one in the entire world.
right,
Like there's not one that exists anywhere.
right.
So I went ahead and analyzed also some other OZ PPMs. Like this is the Wyoming Reserve PPM. And it went through and was able to do the same assessment as I ran above. And this is the key. Tell it, do exactly what you did above. If you're trying to compare something, don't change the context of the prompt or it'll change the way it works. Right. So inside of this one, I fed it this ppm and it came back and said where it had good, good compliance, OZ compliance, and overall, like supplying me with more details. It does say that inside of this one, it does not meet the One Big Beautiful Bill Act integration yet. It does not have that in there yet. So it needs to have that in there. And so inside of that, I went and grabbed a few more and did the same thing. It felt like this one had the best. It gave it the highest scores out of the all three that I reviewed. So now what I'm able to do is now I've got a template that I can use for opportunity zones, and then we can work with Sanjay and his SEC attorneys on how to make the newest 2.0 PPMs and operating agreements and OMs and all that stuff. So when Sanjay said he wasn't sure how different it would be, appears to me that it's quite different. His PPM, as strong as it may be, scored out at a 42%, whereas all the rest of these, which are completely written differently, and that was the point of getting to it, was like how different are they? What level of difference is there? Sanjay's docs come in at 42 to 43, whereas the other ones come in the 90s, right? So That's what we can see is now what would have been a 3 month problem of lawyers back and forth. How much do you think it would have taken to sit there and go back and forth with lawyers to let them read them and go, yep, this one's different from this one because of this, right? If a lawyer just sat there and went page to page all the way through 200 documents, that's a lot of money. What do you think, Catherine?
Uh, like tens of thousands of dollars, which is why he, wanted the $10,000 a month retainer, because then he, could take as much time as possible to do it.
Yeah, well,
Versus,
and what it shows, like, to the extent that we have the ability to build something that does cut that time out and cut that time in half, or even more when talking about it, right?
right.
So, inside of that, um, there's not much that we can't accomplish with AI if we put our minds to it. We bounce back and forth between AI and I mean GPT and Claude and Notebook LM, and we've got all different places that we do these things from. So this is the website that we came up with for Save United Tiny Homes. We're trying to put together a coalition to get everybody with United Tiny Homes taken care of. So this page will be live in the next couple of days, Catherine. You can send this to Brian and Tiffany and the team and stuff. But what do you think of the layout on this? Any comments? No.
Yeah, you're going fast, so I need to.
I mean, we can review it afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. But again, it makes me a website. Like I'm not a website builder. I made it all right here. I told it what I want and where I gotta have the stuff, and this is the thing, people like to think that you just get on these AIs and start talking to it and boom, you'll have something in a minute. You will, but will it be worth something? Right? And so you can see here that this was an extensive conversation that went back and forth multiple times with multiple pieces of information, adding to it context, putting to it what I want, learning more about what I need, and finally getting to a point that I was satisfied with what I had, right? And so, and again, it isn't even live yet. We still got to put it out and make it live, but it still supplies me with a good example of what I need. So anyway, I appreciate everybody coming in today. I've got my calendar blowing up on me here. Somebody just scheduled another meeting with me at 12 o'clock and another one at 1 o'clock, and got a lot of stuff going on. I got something else that just popped up at 11. So Jesus, I'm all over the board.
I appreciate you guys inviting me today. Very, very informative.
Yeah, I'm
Cool.
glad that you came, and I hope that you can, like, that was helpful inside of, again, I think that there is a synergy inside of what you do, what we do, and, helping these companies be able to scale to the next level for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love that. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. I hope that you have an extraordinary weekend, get some rest, and then be back on Monday to dive in and do all the fun things. So
Absolutely.
thank
You
you
guys
for
have
coming, Melissa. Appreciate you.
Thank